Hello guys, Mary here. Today we are going to talk about 6 very engaging topics for your online lesson. So if you haven't watched any of my previous videos, go back to my channel. I'm a language teacher and I'm just sharing tips on techniques, methods, activities, speaking activities, engaging things, or converting students, new students into customers and this kind of stuff. So if you are a teacher and you like my content, please subscribe. Okay, so let's just go straight to these 6 topics. So I think the secret for having a very interesting lesson is to talk about things that they live. So things that people usually do during their everyday lives. So for example, if I talk to a student about British history, probably they are going to like it. Most students love history, but the thing is, probably I'm going to have more knowledge than the student in the topic. So they are not going to be talking as much as I want them to talk. They are going to be listening more. They are going to be paying attention, but it's not going to be that very engaging and dynamic lesson. So what I found out is if we talk about things that everyone lives every single day, they are going to talk more and they are going to like your lesson a lot. So for example, if we talk about sleeping patterns, everyone needs to sleep. So if I ask a student, what time do you go to bed? Or what about your dreams? Do you remember your last dream? So everyone will have something to talk about it, even if they don't have knowledge on sleeping patterns, they can talk about themselves. And this is when they are going to engage. Okay, so let's go to go and see my favorite topics. So the first one here is supermarket marketing strategies. So why do people love this topic? Because obviously everyone goes to the supermarket. Well, maybe some of them, they just go once per month because they live with the parents, but some of them go every day. So it depends on the student, but everyone has some experience with supermarkets. So what I do is, I'm not going to talk about activities today, just about the topics, but just to give an idea, what I can do is, for example, ask them, look, you are going to go to the market to buy a bottle of water. What do you take into consideration? So do you take into consideration price? Or do you go for the design, the best design? So the colors, I really like the color, I like orange. So what do you take into consideration when buying a product? And this makes them really think about it. So they go like, well, if I'm going to buy a shampoo, probably it's going to be according to the type of my hair, or if it's going to be a chocolate, maybe the color of the package. So you see, they've got this experience, they have to think about it and they can talk to you. And then, of course, as I said, I'm not going to go into activities, but just to mention some examples, we can talk about, well, have you noticed that highest prices, like more expensive, the more expensive products are usually in the middle shelf? They go like, no, I haven't. And then the cheap ones are just down there. So they go, oh, yes, that's true. So they can even go to the market the next day and they can notice this kind of stuff and come back to you and talk to you about it next day. So you can just adapt to the student. So if, for example, if someone interested in marketing, you can talk about, well, loads of markets, they've got music playing all the time. Why do you think, what kind of music do you think is going to affect customers? Or why is the bakery there and not at the entrance of the supermarket? Why do you think they do that? So students have to think and you can discuss. If you want to talk to a basic student, for example, you can start talking about food. So you can introduce this topic when talking about supermarkets. So look, what kind of food do you like? So what about fruits? So what type of fruits do you prefer? And then you can also talk about a basic vocabulary. Okay. Second one, Guinness World Records. Oh my God, they love it. And as a teacher, I love it as well, because I usually talk about comparatives and superlatives using this topic. So it is very nice, to have different approaches when talking about a topic. So especially if it's a bit boring. So I don't like to be like, oh, so this building is higher than this one. No, what I try to do is to bring real things so they can really engage and they can really say, wow, that's so nice. I didn't know that. So this is not just a language lesson. I'm learning stuff as well. So for example, what I used to do is putting like a photo. So let's say there is a woman and she's eating like that. And then I ask them to try to try to create a name for the record. So for example, this girl, she's eating like that. So probably her record is the fastest woman eating pasta, something like that. So the smallest animal or the largest collection, and they have to give me the name, right? I also do quizzes. So for example, what is the smallest planet? Stuff like that. So they feel they are learning more than just the language. They feel they are learning something interesting, and it is very nice. Okay. Another good point is that you can find loads of things on Google, so you don't really have to prepare too much. You just go on Google. You Google, oh, the highest building, or I don't know, the most populated country, and then you just take photos, put on the slides, and that's it. Okay. So amazing topic. Number 3, extreme tourism. So when we say extreme tourism, students usually think about extreme sports. Well, they kind of go together sometimes, but not always. So what I do is, for example, as part of an activity, I start asking them, what do you think extreme tourism is? What's your definition? So they are going to go, maybe skiing or climbing the Everest, or so they have to think. They give you the definition, then you can, for example, read the definition with them, so you can check the pronunciation, their intonation. And then I've got, at the moment, what I'm using is a bucket list. Yes, so bucket list of things that every extreme traveler needs to do. So for example, you have to go to where was the place? Oh, Jesus. Well, you have to go and see a volcano somewhere, or you have to see a rocket being launched in Guinea, for example. So very nice things that they really, most of them, they haven't heard of. So they are like, wow, where is this place? So you can go on Google, because you're sharing your screen. So you can go on Google, you can show them, you can ask them, would you do that? And very nice topic to talk about second conditionals, for example. So would you climb the Everest? Or would you dive with sharks? Would you go to this place or that place? So you can really explore this topic. Another good thing is there are loads of videos on YouTube about it. So you can choose like a 3-minute video, and then listen and watch the video together with the student while sharing the screen. And then you can have some comprehension questions. So, whoa, where is this guy from? What was he doing? What happened when he was in Madagascar, for example? Okay, so of course you can be creative, but this is usually a topic that gets people really talking. Okay, so going to number 4, oversharing on social media. So, well, obviously, we all know why this topic is a hot topic, because this is what we do all the time, right? So basically, most of the students, especially if you're having online lessons, they've got access to a computer, they've got access to a phone. And I would say 100% of my students, they are on social media. Some of them prefer Facebook, some of them prefer Instagram, but they are on social media. So loads of things that you can discuss there. So you can discuss, for example, do you have children? So if you have children, do you share many things? Do you think it's appropriate to share photos of children with uniforms so people can know where they study? Or do you think the relationships are getting worse just because of social media? So there are loads of things that can be discussed under this topic. So for basic students, for example, so basic to intermediate students, what I used to do is I put some photos, I show them photos, and they've got this social critique. So for example, a couple together, but the couple they're not looking at each other. They are just looking at the phones and liking other people, giving likes to other people, so Can you describe the photo first? Okay, so the couple is at home and they are not talking to each other. Okay, so what is behind this photo? What is behind the description? And they go, well, nowadays we are not really talking to our partners. We are just on the phone all the time. And maybe a like is more important than, you know, being with your partner and things like that. So it really gives people like a motivation to talk because they know something about it. You know, even if they are teenagers or if they are adults, everyone knows something about this. Okay, so it works very well, right? And number 5 is logos. Well, this, if you want, you can, you know, just work logos together with the marketing strategies. It's an option, but I usually do this as a different topic. Logos, very engaging. Again, why? Same reason, because there are some brands that they are famous worldwide, so we all know them. It doesn't matter if you are in United States, if you are in Australia, probably you're going to know the logo of Apple. Okay, so there are loads of logos that are very famous. So what I tend to do is ask them, so analyze logos together. Let's say we are going to talk about Apple, okay, or BMW. So I put the logo there and I asked them, what do you think this is? Why they've got an apple here? And they start to think, oh my God, an apple, maybe because you can bite the apple and then you can bite. So you talk to them and you kind of think together and they are going to be very, very engaged. So after you can go, oh, that's the meaning. So that's the reason why. So they get very surprised. Oh my God, I didn't know Honda, you know, we put two guys together. I didn't know that. So this is one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is, for example, to look on Google for nice, fun logos. So I've found a lot of them. So you can put something like strange logos or funny logos or anything like weird logos, and then you are going to find loads of them. So it's very funny. You know, students can laugh with you. You can have this moment of, you know, this contraction. You can talk to them and you can laugh. And this, of course, makes people to engage and people to really be motivated to talk. Okay, so logos, amazing thing. Of course, try, if you are working in a country and teaching people from another country, try to find logos that are common to everyone. Okay, otherwise it doesn't make sense. And then you can try to draw a logo, create a logo with your students. So your creativity, you know, can just do this part, you know, loads of things that can be done using this topic. And the last one is recycling. So when we say recycling, people usually, the reaction when I say we are going to be talking about recycling, they go like, yeah, especially teenagers, they've got this idea that recycling is a boring topic. And it can be, any topic can be boring if you are boring. So what I do is I talk about this topic, but using different things. So first thing, do you recycle? Do you recycle at work or at home? How do you recycle? Because recycling is different everywhere. So the rules that apply in England, they're not going to be the same in Ireland or in another country. Okay, so basically, this is something that even if the person doesn't recycle, you can ask them, how many containers can you see? If you go to the street, are there recycling containers there? Yes, I think so. I think there are 4. So what are they? Do you know what they are for? Paper, I think it goes with cardboard or plastic. So they have to think, and even if they don't do it, they will have something to talk about. Okay, so there are some students that they do recycle, so it's great. So you can go, okay, so let me ask you some questions. And they go, oh my God, right? So you start, for example, bubble wraps. Do you know what a bubble wrap is? No. So you explain. So it's another a vocabulary exercise as well. So they go, I don't know. So you explain to them and you go, would you recycle bubble wraps? Oh, yes, of course. And then you go, you can't do it because this can clog the machines. And they go, what? I always thought I could do it. So they get very surprised. And I realized that when you give students this surprising element, they tend to learn better. They tend to memorize things better, right? So surprise them. So what about you ate a pizza? And what about the cardboard box? Do you recycle it? Oh no, because would you recycle? Can you do it? Oh yes, of course. No, you can't. It's too greasy. You can contaminate the whole container. And they go, wow, I've been doing that my whole life. So this is very engaging, you know, surprise them and give them, ask questions non-stop. I ask so many questions and they have to think, because when you think, of course, you memorize better and you learn better, right? If you can bring the topic to your own life, you are going to remember. So it's going to be better. You know, the vocabulary, new vocabulary. Sometimes what I do is I put some photos, like 4 containers and photos of different things. I choose not difficult, new words for that student that I know this student is not going to know. So we can work on vocabulary. At the same time, we work on fluency, on, you know, on the speaking skills, the listening skills. So look at this. So I've got here a brochure. Do you recycle it? Yes, where? So tell me the container. Oh, this goes into paper, right? So they engage and the activity flows and it's just amazing and marvelous. Okay. So these were the 6 topics for today. If you want more, tell me here in the comments. If you haven't watched my videos, you can go there, check them out. If you want to suggest me things or ask me things, I can try to help. Okay, so thumbs up. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and see you next day.